radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders.
All right, so let's get a few things straight. He was an independent, the shooter. He was an independent. He voted for Trump. His whole family was conservatives. His mom and his dad are Republicans. They also voted for Trump as well as the shooter. The shooter himself ended up voting for Trump. Unlike what Nancy Mace ended up saying, he wasn't trans. He wasn't a part of that whole community. Yeah, so their narrative did not age well at all. Did not age well at all. Dude just had hate in his heart. That's it. He did not like what Charlie Kirk ended up saying, and as I've already indicated, you guys, I didn't agree with anything that Charlie Kirk ended up saying. Maybe one or two things that he ended up saying, but no, most of the stuff that came out of that guy's mouth, not at all. Not at all. But still did not give him the right to take that man's life. So now, let the courts decide. Plain and simple. Pretty sure people are going to be watching it, you know. Not sure if they're going to televise it or not, but, you know, time for the courts to handle the system. They got the dude, didn't off himself, sitting in jail. His own father turned him in. Let me know your thoughts.
Did you see the parade of angry white men chanting, "White man, fight back! White man, fight back!" It's extremely alarming to hear, but I'm more so confused. My brother in Christ, for people that look like us to the outside world, it appears that we run and own everything. So most people are curious, who are you fighting back against? And not only that, if you're talking about Charlie Kirk, if you're talking about most mass and school shooters, they're people that look like us. They're white people. So I'm genuinely confused. When you're out there on the street with your tiki torches and you're yelling, "White man, fight back!" What? Who? Who are you being oppressed by? Ourselves? We need to be fighting ourselves? I'm curious. And not to mention, after the third or fourth time saying, "White men, fight back," don't you just naturally want to get quiet and just be like, oh, maybe white men should be fighting back against our own, against fellow people that look like us. We can stand up for injustices, absolutely, but to think that white men are the ones being oppressed, hard to gain an audience on that platform, my guy.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
White men fight back against what? Other white Christian men? Did they not get the memo that it was another white Christian man that shot Charlie Kirk? What are they protesting about? White men fight back against whom? I mean, they're going to use this obviously as a rallying cry to continue to be more racist, because that's what they are when you have a bunch of neo-Nazis and white supremacists upset that Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. It makes me wonder what kind of Christian values Charlie Kirk was talking about if the white nationalists and the white supremacists are upset that he and his ideas are no longer with us. Anyway, who are they fighting back against? Because it's constantly white Christian men in this country who are the problem. It's not just white men, it's white Christian men. It's always Christian men, Christian pastors, Christian politicians. How many white Christian men do you think we're going to find on the Epstein list if it ever gets released? Oh, I bet you there's going to be a lot of white Christian men on that list. It's always white Christian men. So let's not pull punches and act like that's not the case. The problem in this country is white Christian men. I can't imagine what's going to go wrong when you have a bunch of neo-Nazis talking about white men fight back. Is this how we make America great again? Okay. All right, let's see what happens. It won't be good.
Hey lovelies, welcome back to another episode. I believe you are doing great and having a happy weekend wherever you are watching this video from. There has been a lot of tension on the social media since Charlie Kirk was unalived, especially from the palm-colored people, because before the alleged unaliver was identified, they knew that perhaps it was a person of color who unalived Charlie Kirk until the alleged unaliver was identified, and to their surprise, it was a Republican and also a palm-colored man. And again, there was a protest in California. The hatred group were chanting, "White men must fight back." As if that's not enough, also in the UK, some of the palm-colored people were issuing warning after Charlie Kirk was unalived that they must fight back, that people have caused a civil war. So guys, I want us to watch this episode together. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you are coming across Afrojudy's channel for the very first time. And shout out to all my members, and credit belongs to the original creators of these clips and stitches.
Oh my god, Charlie Kirk died just because of a difference of opinion. He just wanted to debate and he was killed for it. Y'all know nothing. You functionally know nothing. Do you actually still believe this is about a difference of opinion? Now, we don't actually know if Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his political views, but it kind of doesn't matter at this point. Everyone's already talking about it and taking a side on this. And I have seen so many fucking white people come out here and be all like, if you support gun control, there's no way you can support this. You need to condemn this. This is disgusting. How could you use violence? And listen, I get it. Okay, it's not easy to see a man get shot the way Charlie Kirk did. I didn't like it, right? But you need to understand that this is not about a difference of opinion. This has always been a war. A war that has been fought for decades, for centuries, actually. And you have been completely blind to it. Charlie Kirk is just the one you've seen because it's big. Like, if you ask any white person who Malcolm X is, right? Just ask them. I've asked my family, and I've asked people, and they generally go like, I think he was, fucking Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know. They literally don't know. Ask them who, what was it, Medgar Evers or George Lee. But ask them how Martin Luther King Jr. died. And I've heard some people say shit like, oh, well, didn't he die because he cheated on his wife and the husband killed him or something? These people know nothing, right? You are literally blind. There have been so many political assassinations going on for so long, and you're only seeing the white one. Okay? You're only seeing the one that's so loud because he looks like you. It is time for you to decide if your political beliefs are worth dying for. And I know that sounds like such an escalation, but that is where we're at. And I mean, black people have known this for ages. Any black activist has always been willing to risk their life for the freedoms they are fighting for, because they know they're not just fighting for themselves, they're fighting for all people of color that look like them. But white people have never had to risk our lives like that. White people have never had, we can go out and say functionally anything and not worry about getting assassinated. But as things escalate, it is time for you to decide who you're fighting for and if it's worth risking your life for. And the truth is, we are willing to risk our lives so that concentration camps stop happening, so that border jails stop happening, so that children aren't taken from their mothers, so that black people aren't killed in the streets. We are willing to risk our lives for that. And I don't want anyone to die, right? I don't want any violence to happen from this, but I understand that the opposition, the war that has been going on for so long, isn't only gonna be settled by sitting down, being quiet, and saying, oh, well, I hope it changes. It's gonna happen by people standing up and risking their lives. And Charlie Kirk was a live by the sword, die by the sword motherfucker, I guess, and he died for what he believed in. I don't think it was fucking worth it. I don't think for one bit anything that he said was worth dying for. But I know many, many liberals that have said things that I believe would be worth dying for, and they go out there and they do the work. And it is time for you to decide what kind of person you are and whether or not you're willing to risk your life for your political beliefs, because that is where we're at. And if you haven't realized that yet, then you have been blind to the war that has been going on for decades. And that's white privilege for you. You're lucky that you've been blind to it. I've been lucky. I've been able to live till my 20s without knowing the deep darkness that has happened in our country. But it's not going to be darkness forever. It's going to come to light. And when that happens, violence can also come from it. Because people are going to have to fight for their lives. And you have to decide if you're going to be with those people fighting, or if you're going to be someone who stands in their way. Because that's what war is. And it's unfortunate. That's what revolution is. And it's going to be televised. And that's why we saw what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it sucks, and I get it, and I feel sympathy, and I'm sort of mad I feel sympathy for him. But that's where it's at. And it's time for you all to decide where you're at. Peace, folks.
I'm gonna say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. Every conservative in the country called panicking.
She's a lawmaker. She's a congresswoman. And she's not the only one saying this. The Democrats are responsible for this. Fox News, Jesse Waters, the Democrats are responsible for this. They're literally telling the conservative, the right-wing viewers, the right-wing voters, the right-wing crowd to declare war on the left. And what's the result of that?
This video's in regards to Charlie Kirk. And this video's for the liberals. It's war, muckers. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. And spare me your self-righteous bullshit lectures. I don't give a We're coming for you.
When I said earlier that I condemn violence, I will not condone violence. This is why. Violence only begets violence. They are blaming this on the left, blaming this on Democrats, when we're not the ones that spread the rhetoric of, gun violence is okay. Charlie Kirk himself spreads the rhetoric that gun violence is acceptable. But I need you to understand the communities that are most in danger with this type of rhetoric, this type of violence being threatened, this type of war on the streets being threatened. Not people that look like me. Unless you talk to me, unless you follow me online, you won't know that I'm a leftist. I'm pretty Republican coded. When they say they're going after the left, they're going to profile people to determine who the left is. So if you are black and brown, if you are trans, if you are queer, if they feel like you're trans, if they feel like you're queer, if they feel like you're a leftist at all, then you can be a target of this violence. And no, I'm not saying that everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community or black and brown community is a leftist. That's what they think. So why do I condemn violence? It's because always in this country, when violent rhetoric gets turned up, it's always marginalized communities that pay the highest price for it. Violence only begets violence forever and always. Nonviolent civil disobedience does work. We need to do it en masse. We need to shut the system down. But now, by the actions of one man, everybody on the right is using this as an opportunity to attack. Because guess what? The people on the right, the politicians on the right, they know they're losing. They know that the nonviolent civil disobedience is working. They know that the tide is turning against them. They know that the American people are not standing for their bullshit. So they need something. They need something to take control of it and stop us. They're grabbing onto this violent act to declare war on the left. And the most ironic part of the entire thing is that everybody I hear from the left is condemning the violence, condemning the shooting, and they are now calling for more violence. It is always their rhetoric that calls for violence, and it is always the rhetoric of the left to preach nonviolence and condemn acts of violence.
All death can do to the believer is deliver him to Jesus. A bullet fired at Charlie Kirk is a bullet fired at all of us. There will be no mercy, no diplomacy, and no surrender to those extremists and their anti-Christian and anti-conservative values and ideology who seek to wipe us out. Charlie was not a violent man. He was a family man. We are under attack and we must defend ourselves. It is time for justice, and war has now been declared.
You know what? I spent the better part of all last night feeling sick to my stomach. Feeling sick to my stomach about the video I saw coming out of that Utah sick to my stomach. Feeling horrified. At the same time that was going on, there was yet another act of violence at a school. Sick to my stomach that Minnesota representatives are getting attacked. Sick to my stomach that we have a nation leading the world with money and progress and all of these things, and you're leading the world with horrific violence, hate, and aggression. I wish I had a chalkboard lesson. I wish I had a word to write and everybody would pay attention, because I write that, I joke, and everybody thinks it's so funny and watches me. Yet I am watching the unraveling of a civilization while people take control over it, amp up fear, amp up hatred, amp up violence, and lead with it. I don't have that solution. I am so tired of a nation that is supposed to be leading this world. All of the resources, all of the access, all of the advantages that they have, and you are shooting each other in the streets? I wish I had some sort of magic quote to say. I wish I could be funny enough for you guys to listen to me and to stop. But I am going to say this. You are not going to beat violence with more violence. I promise you that. You aren't going to just go up and up and up in this escalation of stupidity and hope for a good end. It won't end well. You want this to stop? Come up with actual solutions. Come up with ways of taking care of your children, educating your children, feeding your children, actually helping people with mental health issues. Figure out ways to give everybody access and empathy and inclusivity in that society, because if you don't, it will all burn to the ground. Start leading with the change, not with pointing the finger and saying they're the problem, because that's getting everybody absolutely nowhere. Come up with a solution, and if you don't have one, shut up.
Well, guys, welcome back. I've been going through the X space and the comments I've been reading there, the posts I've been reading there, especially from the prominent politicians since Charlie Kirk was unalived. They were saying that people have activated civil war and that they must fight back. So right now, being that the alleged unaliver of Charlie Kirk is a palm-colored man, who do they really want to fight? Are they still going to start fighting black people because the institutions of the black people were being closed down? There were a lot of threats there. The HBCUs, they are thinking that perhaps it was the black people from those institutions who could have unalived Charlie Kirk until the alleged unaliver was identified. And this tension has been going online since that day up to now. I've been seeing majority of the palm-colored people breaking down on the social media, and they are so frustrated. The reason as to why some people are not mourning the passing of Charlie Kirk. I watched his wife mourning him, the two beautiful daughters. I don't know how they will cope with life the coming days, because what if they all depended on their dad? I know some of the podcasts he was making, people were against it, but death is death. Then these people from the UK who are saying that people from the United States have activated civil war because Charlie Kirk was unalived, and they're still issuing warning that they must fight back. This quote of "we must fight back" is kind of trending on the social media. So I really don't know who these people want to fight. And those who look like me, this is not your fight, you all. Because if you get out there, maybe these people want to revenge. So you must take good care of yourself, because you never know what will happen tomorrow. You remember the days of George Floyd when he was unalived. Maybe they want you to get out and start protesting, because they were also protesting on the street. The hatred group were chanting, white men must fight. And it was not even a surprise because they were carrying Christian flag. And I came to realize that the root cause of all evil is hiding behind Christianity, because if they were chanting those hatred words while carrying the Christian flag on the street, pretending to be Christian or people with good faith, and yet inside them they have that motive that they must fight back. They really want maybe to revenge. And again, yes, Charlie Kirk was not one of the official politicians in the United States. He was a great podcaster. He was having some great debates there. And also, I heard that Europeans didn't want to give a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, and it made some of the people in the United States to be so frustrated. The reason as to why the European Union refused to do that, and they had really good response that he was not one of the politicians, and they didn't have any reason for them to give a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, or perhaps lower their national flags the way it was done in the United States. So just for my black people in the United States, take good care of yourselves, because you never know what will happen tomorrow. Right now, there is a lot of tension on the social media. If you are so keen on the post that people are posting there, how people are triggering tension on the social media, it tells you that there is something, there is anger that is developing within some people, that if you are not careful, you never know what will happen tomorrow. You also should be minding whatever you are telling someone. You also should be minding whoever you are working with, whoever you are having a conversation with, because you don't know the plan that some people are having. If the palm colored people right now are having a lot of tension, they are so scared of their lives. Even the close friends to Charlie Kirk, the likes of Dean, they were really breaking down on the social media because they knew how they were doing their business together with Charlie Kirk, and some of the close allies also were breaking down. I saw Candace Owens breaking down as well, because that's the point. I was seeing several pictures, videos of them together with him. To mean, he really tried his best. He was fighting, and the last words that he uttered before he was unalived was the gang violence. So it kind of means that he was supporting gang violence until it landed on him. That's why I'm telling you guys that we should all be minding whatever we are saying, wherever we are saying, and the exact time we are saying it, because the enemy is always within us. The trauma that Charlie's wife is going to carry for the rest of her life is so unbearable, because she watched her husband being unalived in a broad daylight. I know it's not good to unalive people based on their opinions. We have different opinions. Not all opinions are good, not all opinions are bad. We are here to learn and also relearn from each other. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about these hate groups that were chanting these hate words across the streets in the United States with their flags, the American flag, the Christian flag with them. And also, these folks in the United States, not in the UK, saying that people have activated the civil war. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your massive love and support. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section below, and let's keep it respectful. This video is for educational purposes only. Until next time, guys, I'm your presenter Judy. Let's meet on my next episode.